Why, how do you do? Now, I hope the audio is working good because I honestly was having issues with it before I started the stream. And yeah, it was a bit redonkulous. But welcome, one and all. Thank you for joining me. This is where the Wild West just got wilder. Yeah. As you could tell, I'm a big Redskin fan. So, but anyways, we're not talking about the Redskins today. Although we might in another session because I'd love to have a topic centered around the Redskins. That would be cool. Um, so today I wanted to show you, as you can tell, off to the side over there. Um, these are pictures of a 196 scale USS North Carolina battleship that somebody made from scratch from wood. Right? Guess what? These are what I made 23 years ago. When my right when my firstborn popped out. Okay, and it shows you it was almost completed before we moved out of state, and unfortunately, I had to leave it behind. So the destiny of said ship over here is unknown, but I put a lot of heart, soul, time, and effort into it. So I wanted to show that this is the exact same thing that I'll be doing again. However, the one that you see in these pictures was primarily being built for RC combat. So this ship was its turrets were going to fire quarter-inch ball bearings, right, at other ships, which was firing the same thing at me. Okay, so that's what RC warship combat is all about. It's fun. You just find a local pond, or just a watery area that isn't too deep, where you can go recover your your sunken ship. Hey, FF firefighter is in the house. Yo, how's it going, man? Did I just hear Redskins? Oh yeah, oh yeah. Support the brotherhood. Here's a little tidbit. My grandmother was full-blooded Micmac Indian. The Micmac tribes come from, or they hail from, the northeastern part of the country, which is where they lived, which is where I did all my schooling years. I was not born in Maine, but I did all my schooling years in there. So, and then of course I left for the military. But yeah, my grandmother was full blooded, and it was kind of interesting because my grandfather was full blooded Scotsman. So I don't know what that makes me, other than some crazy person. But I digress. Yes, firefighter just asked. Again, I don't even know if the live chat comments are actually recorded. I don't think so. I'd love for that to be the case. I got to work on that in OBS, which is currently what I'm using. But these pictures are 23 years old, and it's the same process that I'll be doing. Speaking of which, I ordered the plans last night. Finally, I had to wait until I get paid. Again, veteran on a pension, you get paid once a month, and it ain't that much. But the little dinky amount of play money that I do get went right towards the same plans that I basically used 23 years ago. You'll see in the pinned comment, wherever that is, in the chat section, the pinned comment leads to floatingdrydock.com. He is a I believe he mentioned he was 21 years in the Navy. He's, veteran, so it's veteran owned and operated. And, I had communicate with him back and forth, veteran to veteran. At first, it was, business to potential customer, and then we kind of found details out of each other, and then it just became vet to vet, and making a new friend. And he was pretty amazed. I showed him the pictures, or at least like two or three of them, and he was just blown away. He was like, "No way!" He says, apparently when he started this, that was the year he was retiring. So he thought that was pretty something. But he deals with the actual architectural plans for just about any ship, just about. Um, there's sections for anything that you pretty much need. Landing craft. I mean, just Liberty ships, and they range from different years. Even like 80s or 90s. But the ships nowadays are just, I don't know. They look weird. I'm gonna say that they just look weird to me. I get the whole stealth, capability, stealth aspect, and all that other stuff. But how intimidating were the World War II vessels of that time? Just imposing to see, 5, 6 battleships in a line, coming at you, along with, destroyers and an aircraft carrier or whatever the case may be. Now, normally, no, you didn't have like 5 to 6 battleships, but they do have pictures of battleships in a line, and it was really cool. Normally, a carrier group would consist of one battleship and then multiple support vessels such as destroyers and stuff like that. And I could be wrong. You can mention it in the comments down below and beep boop all you want. I don't mind admitting I'm wrong. In some of these pictures, you do see that I was using foam insulation, actually. At the time, that was actually dirt cheap 23 years ago. And it was a quick and easy way to get the shape of the superstructure that I needed. Now, mind you, I wasn't looking for high detail at the time because I knew this was going to get pelted and obliterated by 1/4-inch ball bearings from other ships. So you don't want to put that much time and effort into something that's just going to be like, beat the snot out on the pond. So, Firefighter says, damn, looks awesome. Also, after several days, the comments load back into YouTube side for playback. Oh, right on. There is a setting that you can turn on and off comments. Might have to turn on, though. Not on the OBS side of things. It's on YouTube side of things. Oh, okay. I will look into that because, in all honesty, I've had past live streams, or I've done past live streams, and I'm sitting here talking, and you'll notice, or I'll be like looking off, and I'll be like, yeah, that's absolutely right. And then just out of the blue, that's what I'm saying, and I'm like, I'm absolutely right about what? What the heck did so and so say, and who was so and so, right? So it's like there's a lot of like question marks, and it's like then the live stream in parts of it just don't make sense. So yeah, but I don't know. My glasses are giving off a severe shine, and if I keep wearing a hat, I'm gonna have a shine on the noggin. Moto Alley, hey, how's it going, man? Hope hey, happy hump day, guys. Guys are almost through. I don't know what schedule Firefighter has. He explained it a couple different times, and to me, it just looked like it gave me a headache trying to figure out his work schedule. Going good. How are things you? Oh, yeah, going good, Moto. Actually, going really good. But believe it or not, if anybody knows, actually, if you guys saw my last short that the short video that I put out, um, I hung back up my American flag and my father's BDU top and my BDU top, and you can pretty much tell whose is whose. My father, went in. He graduated. Let's see, he graduated high school in '57. So, and he was given an opportunity by the local judge in our town, saying that, well, you can go with this officer here, and you get 3 hots and a cot, or you can go with this recruiter, and we'll forget the whole thing. He chose the recruiter and then ended up spending 20 years in 15 days, believe it or not. And the 15 days was a screw up on the Army's part. Go figure. Something to do with the paperwork got messed up, and he had to spend a couple more weeks in there. But he said it was nothing. It was just relaxing, getting up when you want, so on and so forth. And I was like, yeah, I can imagine. Usually during out processing, they don't mess with you. They know you're going out anyway, so you pretty much have the run of the mill, or at least you used to. So, what do we got going on here? Moto Alley, going good. Things with you, firefighter. That's wild to build something like that, only to have it riddled with lead. At first, it is the comments for the playback, and then as it loads, you can slide to the live comments. Oh, that's right, because it's got the 3 little dots, right? And you can kind of. Hell yeah, man! It's night 1 or 2 for me, then 3 off. Hey, right on. And hopefully there'll be a relaxing 3 off. Moto, hey, how's it going? Or I should say Dean, because there's 2 motos, actually. Good morning. Hope you're doing well, brother. I know we were in communique talking about the video I did of getting the snowblower ready. And we have, let me read something. Let me read something there, Dean. All right, so this is our local news, and the title of the headline this morning: "Say it isn't snow." Right, a little play on words. Update: look at a potential snow event next week in North Dakota. So, if you guys are wondering why on earth would this crazy man from Bismarck, North Dakota, be getting his snowblower ready to work at the beginning of October, now you know. So yeah, it's crazy living in here. Sick? How's it going, Sick? My gosh. Redskin fever. Yeah. Absolutely. No, Redskin fever. Always, ever, forever, ever. I tried. Okay. So what was it? 2019 was the last season they were Redskins. 2020, I believe, was the year they became the Washington football team. And then I believe it was a year after that, 21 or 22, they became the Washington Commanders. And obviously, I think the Washington Commanders name is something you would see from a 12-year-old's fantasy football team, and that's what he would name that team. I think it's dumb. I don't think it belongs. I think it was from the woke side during the last administration, and I think they should do the right thing and change it back to the Washington Redskins, get the logo back. That was Chief Blackfoot, I believe, was the emblem right here. That's actually a real person, guys, Chief Blackfoot. And again, I believe that's his name, going off memory, and sometimes memory just is about as rusty as a 1950 vehicle. But they should honor the indigenous personnel of the United States and go back to it. But you know what? That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion, guys. And you know what opinions are? Thoughts from another person. You thought I was going to say something else, didn't you? Now, uh, who else we got in here? Hey, thanks for calling out. Moto Alley says you come from a serving family. I do, actually. Um, Most of my family are not here, and not because of old age. Most of my family were killed in World War II. Um, Being the youngest out of nine, and yes, you heard that right, I'm the youngest out of nine. But being the youngest has disadvantages, right? Um, I didn't get to mingle with a lot of my family members in their golden years due to our golden years were spent serving the country and then dying for that same country. Um, so it happens, no regrets. It's just that was our family for generations. That's all we did, and it was an expectation when I was growing up. It wasn't a how would I put it? It wasn't a question, right? It was never a question because this is just what you do. In our family, that's just what you do. Anything you divert, you're pretty much ostracized from the family. And in doing so, back then, anyways, when I was a youngster, that was a no-go. You just did not want that, no matter how bad your family was or whatever. So, first chance I got after graduate, I graduated '93. I spent a year working, and then I spent, what was it, the end of '94. I signed up and got in on a delayed entry program, and then at the beginning, early '95, I went in, and I did a complete year of training. I got to basic 2 weeks prior. So I had 2 weeks on top of everybody. We were waiting for the rest of the class to come in at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. And we were waiting for the rest of the class there. So I really got a chance beyond other people to just absorb the atmosphere and actually get used to it before I got pelted and thrown into a meat grinder. Because back then, they were still allowed to put hands on you. Okay, so this wasn't like stress card or like, oh, I feel bad, you hurt my feeling. None of that BS. They'd take you out back behind the building and just thrash the snot out of you. Ask me how I know. I wasn't exactly like the quintessential soldier, I'll tell you that much. Only because I wanted to, but I didn't. Right? I was too busy raising hell in my little country town, back in Maine, and it was fun. But so I went through. Pardon me. I went through like 10 weeks or more. That's where I can't quite. I think it was 10 or 12 weeks because I got there early of boot camp. I went up to Aberdeen Proving Grounds, which is in Maryland, and did my AIT, Advanced Individual Training, to become a mechanic. And this is kind of interesting because it's quite a journey from there to where I ended as a combat engineer. So, but it started out as a mechanic, and you could say slash engineer, but I really started going towards that role after AIT. Me and a few others from around the United States were handpicked. I know that sounds really cool, but I mean, it's just what they do. They take like, the guys that are scoring the highest or understanding the most. Again, getting in on merit. Love it. Getting back to that. So I went to ASI, okay? So a specialized training, um, and became a recovery specialist. And then when I got to my duty station at Fort Lewis, on the West Coast in Washington State, and to mind you, it was Fort Lewis, not Joint, because right now it's Joint Lewis and McChord, because McChord Air Force Base was right next to it. But when I was in the '90s, mid '90s, or mid to late '90s, sorry, it was just Fort Lewis. So we went to Fort Lewis, and that's when my role as a combat engineer became more prevalent. And they looked at people's strengths, and this is what I really liked about it. They looked at your strengths and then said, okay, we're going to utilize this guy because he's better at this over here, and we're going to utilize this person because they're better at this over here, right? And going on their strengths instead of just, hey, I want everybody to go in this direction, right? Whether or not they fall by the wayside or whatever. But I don't even know why I just started on that roll. Oh, it was Moto Alley. I blame Moto Alley. He said, "You come from a serving family, then, huh?" And then question mark. Moto, it's your fault. Multitasking. Oh my God, did I lose track? I never lose track. What in the hell? Good to hear from you, Rascal. Yeah, same thing, Moto. No, it's good. It's good to. I stopped by the stream. Was it yesterday? And I popped in, said howdy, and I stayed in there, and I was just kind of listening and whatnot. And it's good to hear you guys chit chat. I love the fact that you guys, like there's just again that dedicated community, and it's awesome to be a part of. he's got the gray to prove it. Firefighter, are you talking my gray? No, man, that's a trick of the light. That's all that is, dude. That's this right here. It's blonde. Yeah, I got blonde hair. Whatever, blonde hair. It just looks gray in the light. See, natural light just hits it, and it's weird. Get out of here. How the hell is there snow in the forecast for you, but nothing for me here? I'm not good at geography, but are you much farther north? Moto, I don't remember where you're at. Again, I just don't remember the state's name, but I'm North Dakota, and Motobomb, Virginia, came from Minnesota. So what I'm about to say, he totally gets it. When we get nabbed, North Dakota / Minnesota, we're the first states to get thumped by the Arctic. Okay. You have the jet stream, which kind of, squiggles through, the United States, which is fine. That normally doesn't affect us unless it taps up really high, and then we get hit with like warmer weather. But normally the jet stream just kind of like goes through the middle of the states to the lower states, and that's it. We get hit with an Arctic front every season. By Halloween, we're in the negatives, and there's usually snow on the ground. And that's just by Halloween, which is why it was kind of imperative for me to, like, this time of year, I got to get the snowblower out. I got to make sure it's working, service it. Showed it on the video. Auger works fine. Gears work fine. Everything's, all the levels are topped off. We're ready to rock, man. We are ready to rock. But, it's crazy that, okay, for instance, let me go back to this. I'm going to pop up Weather Channel. There we go. Saturday. Okay, so we're in the 80s. 88 Friday. Can you believe that? Here. 88 Friday. 72 Saturday. Oh boy. Now, mind you, these are the highs. 55 Sunday. From there, it just bleh. It goes out of control, and we're embracing the suck like we basically do every year. Being a motorcyclist in North Dakota, you literally want to ride your bike as often as you can in late spring, summer, and early fall, because that is, to me, being here since 2011, is the shortest riding season that I've seen and heard you guys talk about. Living in Tennessee, which is where I'd ideally like to move to, is eastern Tennessee, like Johnsonville or something like that, or Johnson City. Sorry, Johnson City. Somewhere over in that direction. That's ideally where I want to be. But c'est la vie, housing market sucks. Economy sucks. Now, I'm not saying it's Trump's fault. I blame it on the last administration. And yeah, I do get political, and I don't care. I don't apologize for it. You put blame on people that need to be blamed. That's all there is to it. Bismarck is very north. Oh, wait a minute. I remember hearing about the Redskins issue. I think it's stupid to switch after all these years. What was it? By 2019, it was 82 or 84 years, because they were incepted at 1932 as the Redskins, or they've been around. I mean, their original names were actually the Boston Braves or some crap like that. I think they did like 2 name switches at the very beginning, just trying to figure out like who they were, where they were going to be, and then they became the Washington Redskins, and then that was it. And the legacy that they left, the culture they created. Now, mind you, the only reason why the damn name and logo was changed in the first place is because everybody wanted to do cancel culture at the time. And everybody was getting woke, and all that other, analogies you can come up with crap like that. It was changed because of some fat white politicians wanted to feel bad for Native Americans, the indigenous people, that didn't want it to be changed. But these fat white politicians, man, they know how they feel. It's all right. We got you. We'll change it. And, of course, they changed the Cleveland Indians, too. I don't even know what the hell they're called. Cleveland Puke Buckets or something. I don't know what the hell. I don't watch baseball, but I know they changed. And it's only a matter of time. Here in and Motorbomb, Virginia might even know about this. One of our colleges over in, it's either Grand Forks or Fargo. It's UND, not NDSU, but UND. UND used to be the Sioux, the Fighting Sioux. All right. Which is, an indigenous tribe over in this neck of the woods. They changed it. Now it's the Fighting Hawks, right? So they got rid of, their emblem and their name and their identity and whatnot. And I think it's the dumbest thing to do. They weren't poking fun. They weren't being radical or racist. They were respecting, an indigenous people. Didn't matter. Again, old fat white guys. I'm white. And I still blame the white guys. Although I am part native, so I'm just saying. World is crazy. Yeah, it is crazy, Moto. It is. Firefighter. I'd rather be the football team than the Commanders. Firefighter. I absolutely 100% agree with that. But they will move into their new stadium as the Redskins, mark my words. That's something that I really am praying for really hard. I know that's a silly prayer. God doesn't usually look down and listen to silly prayers like that. So when I say I'm praying for it, I'm hoping, maybe I should just reword it. I'm hoping that is the case and that they smarten the hell up, and because they keep talking about, right now, they keep talking about the culture. And when I say they, I'm talking about the Commanders. They keep talking about, we want to, start a new culture and whatnot. No, you need to go back to the old one. I get the culture that was in the business side of things that was wrecked by Daniel Snyder, who was the owner of that team for the longest time, but through the 90s and 2000s. But this, I could go down the rabbit hole. I'm telling you, I gotta stop. Um, I like all opinions. I like your all's opinions better than the world's. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Moto. Means a lot. Moto Alley, I believe they tried to get the Chicago Blackhawks to change their name to, but they said screw that. Yeah, and I know, and I wish other teams would have taken that stance. I've been rooting for look, the Colorado Rockies baseball, Chicago Blackhawks hockey, and the Washington Redskins football. Those were my three teams. I never cared for basketball. I just never cared for it. It just wasn't my jam. But the other sports, absolutely loved, and those were my teams. And I was worried once the Redskins dumped their logo and name. I was like, the Blackhawks are going to be right behind them. It's almost guaranteed, but it didn't. You're right. They were just like, we ain't doing it, buddy. I've said this before, but even though I'm not American, thanks to you and your family for your service. Hey, I appreciate that, Moto Alley. I really do. It's something we most of us volunteered for. My dad was given a choice, so I'm not entirely sure I'd call it volunteering. It was jail or serving the country, So I don't know. Was it really volunteering? That kind of gives you a glimpse out of what my family life was like growing up. Okay, most of my family was notoriously alcoholics, and some were drug addicts. So, my life was not silver spoon fed. Okay, so I don't want to create a sob story or anything. I'm sure other people had issues growing up too, and hopefully they didn't. Don't want to go down there, but yeah, it was interesting, and I'll just leave it at that. Hockey folks don't flinch. No, you know what, firefighter, you're right. That is true. My dad always said that he'd go to a hockey game. No, he'd go to a fight and a hockey game broke out. That's what he said, and that always stuck in my head because he's not wrong. I mean, if you can get one hockey game with 0 fights, chances are it wasn't in the U.S. It's some other country, somewhere else. No better sport than knives on ice. Oh, that was a good one, Moto. Probably because not many Americans follow hockey. They just know about foosball. Foos? There is foosball. But I think you meant football. Going on strengths makes for a stronger military or any other business. Well, and yeah, that should have been. I mean, again, we're going to common sense area now. I mean, that should have been the standard. Firefighters. Okay, so firefighter, I'm talking to you as well. You go to the gym, you look in great shape and whatnot. No, I don't have a man crush, but, well, maybe you got the Redskins, so I don't know. I'll talk to your wife about it. No, I'm joking. Anyways, firefighters. If there's not a standard, how do they expect a firefighter that's not in shape to carry out a person that's unconscious that weighs at least 180 pounds or 200 and I'll be honest with my weight, 244 with tons of metal in my body. You better be, Arnold freaking Schwarzenegger, with your arms and body to be able to save me if I'm unconscious. Because if not, you're going to probably hightail it thinking that, this guy's a lost cause or I just can't do it. We'll either die together or I'm dying, period. So, I mean, either way, my life is forfeit because that person wasn't physically capable to drag me out of a burning building. It goes to say with the military, we need this platoon to literally run to this position, which is like 2.5 clicks away, and still be in fighting condition when they get there. Now, do you think a guy that's severely, overweight or obese, with full battle gear, is going to run 2 clicks and still be able to fight without throwing up a lung? He's not going to even make it there. So, I mean, police officers, I mean, I can go on and on and on. I mean, everybody has to have that common sense standard. And it has nothing to do with male and female. It has everything to do with being ready to do the job that you were hired to do. Plain and simple. Did I just get on my soapbox? Holy crap, I didn't I? Sorry about that. You're welcome. Always love hearing the stories. Yeah, Moto Alley, I talk. I'm sorry, I talk a lot. Matter of fact, if you were to put me and Firefighter on the same live stream, we'd be talking over each other, talking about 5 billion subjects in 5 minutes and not knowing what direction we're going in and just be completely lost. That's us. There we go. That's us. And I just threw Firefighter totally under the bus. Does he have squirrel moments on his live streams? Yes. We all have a touch of gray. Speaking of Firefighter, we all have a touch of gray. Earned every single one. Shoot, you have kids, so there's no wonder. 5, actually. 23, 20, 11, 2 10s. Yes, I said 2 10s. Twin daughters. And I think they're the ones that give me the most gray. Moto Alley, after a bit of searching, yeah, you guys are just south of Saskatchewan and Manitoba, and I've heard they're getting snow there already. Yeah. Moto Alley, I keep forgetting. You're Canada then, right? Because if you are, then basically Winnipeg is literally just north of us. And it's usually pretty close to the weather system between Winnipeg and Bismarck, usually. Firefighter, I force myself not to have seasons, but nothing close to your guys' weather. I've ridden in the 20s, and that's about 20 minutes max with my gear. If you don't have, like, a seat warmer and grip warmers, and I'm not kidding you, during the fall season, like now during the fall season, your fingers will get cold enough. Now, mind you, this is not from personal experience. This is from, friends of mine that I know. Your fingers will get cold enough where their reaction time is so slow because it's like, oh, they're frozen, right? And you don't need that on a 2-wheel squeal. So, Moto Alley, it's always the white people trying to make it right, even though it has nothing to do with the modern day, right? Yes, going back to what we were saying, absolutely. Firefighter, the Cleveland Guardians. Oh, my friend from Cleveland absolutely hates it. I think you'll see the Redskins before the Indians. Yeah. I almost see that too, now that you mention it. Motobomb, going to get lunch, but I'll be listening to it. All right, Moto. You have a good lunch. Glad you're still sticking around with us. Moto Alley, we have similar issues. They created the Day of Truth and Reconciliation to try and make the white people feel better about themselves. But the natives here have been trying to get clean drinking water. Yeah, isn't that like there's politicians out there that the priorities are just like so skewed, you have no idea. And here's the crappiest part of that. People actually voted them in. The same people, I don't know. It's the same people. There's a lot of people that are like crabbing about like today's world, but yet they're the same ones that voted these morons in the first place. It's like, yeah, well, you asked for it, but unfortunately, the rest of us are tagged along the ride, with them. So, for many years, and they haven't done, shit about it. Yeah, firefighter. The older I get, the less and less I care about any politician. Now, I'll stop right there. Absolutely. I've always been interested in politics, only to some degree that I like knowing what's going on both sides of the aisle. I'm a registered Republican, and I make no bones about it. But I also use common sense, So I vote for who I think is going to be the best for the people in general, okay? So, and that's how I look at it. I don't just vote Patty. There's a lot of people that do. Hardcore, liberals. And then you got hardcore, far right people. So, I have a hard time feeling like any of them give a damn about any of us. Going back to what I was saying, rough feeling and seeing how far we've come the wrong way. Absolutely. It's just it doesn't make sense. That's why people are just scratching their heads at this point. Moto Alley, firefighter, I don't get how people still believe what they are trying to sell. Yeah, but right, it goes, yeah, I'll piggyback again off that, these people were voted into office, and it makes you wonder, like, how are people that gullible that they're going to listen to all sorts of crap spewed by one person, regardless whether it's left or right, and just fall for it hook, line, and sinker, and then just wonder, well, how did we get to this place? Well, let's go back a couple years to who you voted in, right? So yeah. Hell, half the cops are fat and lazy. How the hell are they supposed to chase criminals? I've watched Moto Alley. I've watched real body cam footage of police officers, and I know from a military standpoint, I know what it's like to carry pounds and pounds of gear and still have to truck it, and book it as fast as you can. And is it fun? No, but it's necessary. There's a lot of these body cam footages. Well, they'll run, and I've seen more than I care to see of them quitting the foot chase and then having to rely on helicopter surveillance and people's, other officers, scouting out the area and basically kind of like cordoning off, a few blocks or whatever, so that they can't get out that way. But the huffing and puffing, and that's what I notice in these body cam footages. And it's like, well, when I was at my peak in the service, I could run at least 2 miles without much concern or effort. I had to work to get to that, but once you get there, even with all the gear, it's nothing. You're huffing, but you're still combat ready. Does that make sense? Maybe I'm just spewing. Spewing. Is that a thing? Spewing. There are days where I look at who's on the truck and wonder, bad day? They got me. I'm on the Mayday team, and I'll leave it at that. Roger that. Roger that, firefighter. Same live stream. Good luck, internet. Yeah. No, I mean it. I'm telling you, firefighter. Okay, so firefighter does live streams. He does amazing. I just lost it. Not MotoVid. It's Motovlog. Nah, I knew I'd remember it. Motovlog. So firefighter does motovlogging. Okay, and he also live streams. So check out his channel, and you won't regret it because the guy's a really nice guy, but he's just as bad as I am. I'll start telling a story, and then 20 minutes later, I'm like, what were we talking about? So that's why I said one of these days, him and I got to do a live stream. Now, I don't know if anybody's going to get a word in edgewise, but we really do need to get a live stream going on someday. I'd pay to see you two on a live stream. All donations go to getting the name back. Okay, there we go. So, yes, you can. You'll pay. That's fine. I'd have to set aside an entire afternoon to watch that. Yes, you would. Yes, sir. An hour east of Detroit. Oh, okay. Yep. Firefighter, you stream live too, Moto, so you're there too. Oh, that's right, Moto Alley. You live stream. Sick. Yeah. Speaking of sick, what the heck is sick? Sick bastard. Firefighter, yeah, but I'll just leave that there. Oh, yeah, okay. There's some people have I'm an extrovert, okay? So I really don't care what people think or how I come across. This I'm going to throw Firefighter out in the meat grinder again. Firefighter has lists and documents and okay, we're going to talk about subject A. Do we stay on subject A? For a little bit. Then it spikes off. Oh, no. And then he's like, no, I got to finish talking about this. And I give him credit. He's persistent. He's like, I'm going to stay on target. I give him credit for the persistence of staying on that. What you see here, this is shoot from the hip. I started this live stream today to show you off what's the pictures over there. Okay. Were taken 23 years ago, and I was going to talk about the process because I just ordered the plans last night. So hopefully within a week, I don't know how long it's going to take, but hopefully in a week or so, I'll have the plans here. Maybe do another live stream. I can't exactly show the plans, but I might be able to set up something to just kind of like put a piece of it. Now, mind you, 196 scale for this battleship is 4.5 feet long. Okay, so the scale of the project is big. The architectural drawings are done in 196 scale. So you roll them out, and it's like a 5-foot rollout sheet with the 196 scale. 196 scale of the ship. So it's big, but that's all right. I got bad eyes. That's why I'm not fiddle-fatting around with scale models anymore. You know, like 1/24th scale, 1/25th scale little cars and stuff like that. That's what I used to do years ago. But I couldn't, my eyes just couldn't do it. Even with glasses, I was like, this is insane. I even have, somewhere behind me, I got the magnifying glasses there that you can put in. I had to start using those, and those are just getting irritating anyways. Makes me feel old. Firefighter. I finally bought some winter gloves at the end of last year. Looking forward to testing them out. Hands freezing up are the worst part of it, indeed. Yes. Well, when you need that finger dexterity, right? You know, for the front brakes or even to try and feel your toes. You really got to have some good boots too, man. Firefighter, registered Republican as well. Hey, good on you. I love hearing both sides, though. Those that try and silence instead of just walking away boggles my mind. Where are the adult conversations in today's world? Well, the fact that the far left has radicalized so many people into thinking that taking a person's life because you don't agree with them is okay. And that's what they're meant to believe. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. This isn't my opinion. There's hard facts. There's video evidence of just about half the Democrats at one point in time inciting violence. That you guys need to fight, and you guys need to get in their faces, and you guys need... Whoa. And they say the Republicans are amping it up? Nope. The Republicans, what did we do when Charlie Kirk was shot and killed? We had vigils and prayed. Yep. Look at us go. Woo. All that violence. Yep. Inciting violence by singing Amazing Grace. Oh boy, you would watch out for us. But what happened when George Floyd died of an overdose? And I still don't believe it was the cops' fault. But when they died of an overdose, what did they do? Oh, pillaged, plundered, murdered, looted. Yeah, that's what the far left gives you. Friggin' insane. When all we need is just a simple open communication. I think it's awesome to disagree with somebody. I know that sounds insane, but I honestly believe that there needs to be those checks and balances. However, it needs to be done in a mature and civil debate. A setting where two people that disagree with each other, say just a random Democrat, random Republican, and be able to say their piece and agree to disagree if that's the case, or shed light that the other person may not have seen, that viewpoint from, right? But that's what it's all about, and that's what Charlie was doing. He's not the only one, but I mean that's what Charlie was doing. At least in the USA, the elect that won actually won votes. Here in Canada, it's always the one with the most amount of votes who gets in. The elect that won the actual votes. Here in Canada, it's not always the one with the most amount of votes. Oh, I see what you mean, Moto Alley. I gotcha. Firefighter, if you believe in elections, insert conspiracy music. No, actually, no, not conspiracy music. The theme music from I just had it. X-Files. With the poster, I want to believe. I'm down for the live stream. All right. Well, then we got to hook up, man. We got to hook up. 100% we got to hook up. Moto Alley, I've been watching the photos roll past and was wondering what they are. Oh, okay. Yeah, so hopefully I had mentioned that that you caught. But this was when my first child was born, so 23 years ago. And I look back and I smile because, man, it was an undertaking just to get it to that point. And using sort of like shade tree mechanic type thinking, right? But just with wood, not gears, right? So utilizing what I had at the time, what I could afford at the time. Now, mind you, 23 years ago, wood wasn't all that expensive. That was fairly easy. But you'll be seeing progress photos. Well, not photos per se, but you'll be seeing progress videos similar to these photos that you see over here. I had a blast doing it. I was 80% done with it to my standards. I had the propulsion ready to go in there, and I was just about ready to buy the pre-made turrets, okay, that actually fired. And the CO2 was going to come after that because that's how they fired. I had this monster controller. It had all sorts of like switches and gauges and on it, stuff like that. It was really cool, but alas, I couldn't take it with me. I moved from Maine to Casper, Wyoming. And that was the last time. That was the last time I was in Maine. That was in that was '06 because my second child was a year old. So that was '06. Um, I've streamed to nobody for hours and X amount of people for hours. Anyone who streams would say it's the people who join that make it fun and worth it. 100% firefighter. Absolutely 100%. Um, there have been live streams, like you said. I've done live streams before where there was like nobody, right? I still presented the information, but it was more or less I could have done it at that point. I could have done it in a video format. With nobody watching the live stream, I could have just did it in a video format, uploaded it, and eventually maybe somebody will watch it, right? And just kind of throw it up in the air. But with the live stream, when you got people that you can interact with, you're absolutely right. It's what makes the live stream actually entertaining. It makes the live stream a little bit longer. So it's not a 23-minute or a 30-minute live stream because like 0 people, showed up, or the people that did show up are just watching and they don't feel comfortable, typing, right? Which is fine. That's okay. Where are we? Maxine Waters, get in their faces. Yeah, right. And she was the one. Okay, so you remember you know what I'm talking about. Checks and balances, 100%. Absolutely, that's what we need. Whether the right, like Republicans like it, whether the Democrats like it, we need those checks and balances. Even if the Republicans just continue to dominate. Sometimes I believe that it can get into that scary, weird section, or phase. Where you just don't know, where even good people, like absolute power corrupts absolutely. Did I get that right? So it really doesn't matter. I guess the gist of that is that it really doesn't matter if you have good intentions or that you started with a kind heart and I want to for the people. Power has a habit of getting to one's head, Republican or Democrat, doesn't matter. And I would hate to see the country spiral out of control, regardless of party affiliation, but especially, if it was my own party, I'd be like, what are you guys doing? There's a lot of Democrats out there that are not far left. They're Democrats, but they're not far left, right? They're liberals. Okay, and that's great. Those people are who we need right now to stand up to these far left people and be like, what the hell are you doing? We're in a shutdown. The government shut down midnight last night because the Democrats wanted a 1 point whatever trillion dollar aspect into the CR bill, which is the continuing resolution or whatever of the government for 7 weeks. So that 1 point whatever trillion dollars was going to fund Medicare to illegal immigrants. Let me repeat that. They want to fund illegal immigrants Medicare or Medicaid, whatever. That's why the Republicans are like, here's what you guys voted on in 2018. Chuck Schumer did as well. Here's what you guys voted on. And it's a 12 point or whatever. It's a 22 page. Like, it's not even that long. It's just, let's keep the government open. Let's fund it for 7 more weeks while we can get back to the brass tacks of it all and figure out a way to solve this. And Schumer and I don't know, whatever that other guy, Jeffries, they said they gave a hard no. Why? Trump's not a bad guy. I mean, he does things that I think are kind of off and I don't agree with, but he's still the president, just like Biden was, unfortunately. He's still the president, right? What are you going to do? These guys aren't even willing to work with that. And it doesn't make sense. Who's paying for it ultimately? active duty military personnel, federal employees, guess what? There's no paycheck for them. They're working right now and not getting paid. They're working knowing they're not getting paid. Why? Chuck Schumer, Jeffries. There's 3 Democrats that actually voted for the CR to pass, and still it didn't pass because they still need more Democrat support. Flipping crazy, dude. Flipping crazy. Oh, crap. Uh-oh. Phew. Thought I just screwed up the chat, which I might have. Where'd we go? Gone are the days of talking things out. They've proven the difference of opinion, and opening people's eyes is not what they want. No, it isn't. They've been scamming us for a long time. If the internet don't open the eyes, this Motorbomb Virginia, I don't know what will. So much you can find out on your own, and that's the thing, Motorbomb. We live in the age of technology, where 60 years ago this wouldn't even be a thing, because we'd be going off of news sources, right? And then it depends on what news source you watch. MSNBC, CNN, well, they're radical left. Fox, well, they're radical right. So I mean, it's like news isn't even unbiased anymore. Now, mind you, it hasn't been for decades, but it wasn't this bad. Like, this is the worst I've personally seen it. And I was born in 75, so the 80s was my jam with Ronald Reagan. Whoa. But even then, there was common sense. During the Moto Alley, during the scamdemic, I like that. We had a peaceful trucker protest, and they arrested and charged people for attending just because they were going against their word. I want to say I remember that. That's right. That's right. Truckers were doing it, and they were. It was a peaceful protest, and they nailed them for it. Motorbomb Virginia, take a mortal man and put him in control. Watch him become a god. Watch heads roll, a.k.a. Dave Mustaine, about true. Yep. Yeah. Well, again, it goes back to what I said, about absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I don't know if I'm getting that right. But that's the gist of it, right? Once you put in power and you have that power, it's only a matter of time that, I'm not saying it goes to your head, but you start relaxing and you're like, well, I can do it because I want to. Right? It starts becoming I instead of we, the people, right? The way it's supposed to be. Did that just jump up again? How long you been in Bismarck then? Motorbomb, I've been in Bismarck since 2011. That was during the huge flood that we had, the epic flood. So I was driving up from Casper, Wyoming, and I was passing by houses with sandbag bunkers, National Guardsmen everywhere, and I'm like, what in the world am I getting myself into? What kind of state is this? And then I was like, I was, told very soon after getting up here that it was like, oh no, the Corps of Engineers, they screwed up. With the dam that's up further on the Missouri River, and it just epically flooded any house within reach. Like, the river bank was, what was it, 15, 20 feet higher than normal? And when you talk about in feet like that, all the houses on the river, yeah, they were in water. Moto Alley, I think that's why I don't do a lot of live streams. It's easier to make and edit the video down to 10 minutes than it is to try and talk to no one during a live stream and stay motivated to talk about it. You got to be stupid like me. That's how you stay motivated. You find ways. And again, I don't know if it's just that's just the way certain people are built. I couldn't tell you, but I can tell you that when I'm in front of a camera I just have a habit of just finding things to talk about, and sometimes it doesn't even go with the original subject, but I still go ahead. I get it off my chest. It's therapeutic as hell. Um, I even told my therapist. I said, "Now, I'm starting to do a little bit more back on the internet." I said, being shoved away from my mechanical skills, i.e., like rebuilding the bike, or working on a truck, or just whatever, right? I said that was a kick in the cherries that I didn't expect, and it just, with my the head issue I have, right? By the way, the neurosurgeon that I spoke to about the mass that they found is still in question because there's a marble size. Now it's marble size. It was pea size. Now it's marble size. And when the neurosurgeon was showing me on the MRIs that they took, um, the bulge in the brain itself is caused by something, but they don't know what that something is. Further testing is required. Okay? Well, I'm still waiting on the further testing. I believe I have an appointment coming up this month with a neurologist to get a different vantage point and opinion on that. But I also have another MRI in December and another appointment with the neurosurgeon himself, because he says if there is pressure in your head, more than likely due to excessive fluid. Where's the fluid coming from? He doesn't know yet, which is why he wants to continue testing. So that's kind of where we're at. I see there again, off on a different tangent. My gosh, stay motivated. Take a moral man, put him in control. Oh yeah, I read that. Moto Alley, I've always said that Trump is a businessman. He's treating the USA like his business, and he will make it thrive while saying screw everyone else. You're not wrong. His first term, 2016, when he beat Hillary Clinton, those 4 years were the best 4 years we've had in decades. Our economy soared. So whatever he was doing was working. And what he's doing on this second run in office is he's trying to expound on the success that he had 8 years ago. So it's, in my opinion, it is working, but everybody's got to take a hit basically in the meantime. Like these tariffs are already proving solid for the USA. However, in the meantime, right? So like I don't expect things to really normalize price-wise, like groceries, let's say. I don't really expect them to do much of anything until next summer. Next summer, I think everybody's going to start seeing prices just being dropped. But these tariffs have to be worked out, and things have to be, coordinated now with these businesses, because, businesses are like, well, wait a minute, I don't want to get my ass taxed off, if I'm building in another country. So they're moving here. Well, moving here takes time. They either have to find a building to put their plant or manufacturing facility in, or they have to build it. Ouch, because that takes at least a couple years, depending on the size of your company and where you're putting it, because you still need permits and all this other regulatory type stuff that you need. Firefighter, live streaming gives people direct access instead of comments that may or may not be replied to days later. It's fun for me because I get to talk to those like we are chatting away in person. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's kind of what it is. It's in person but virtually. It's virtually in person. Okay, we can go with that. But yeah, I know I get what you mean. I try to respond to mind you, my channel dinky. I got, I don't know, 130 subscribers, if that. And I'm not downplaying that. I think there's a lot of them that subbed and are actually engaging, right? However, like with any channel, there are lots of subs that sub, fire, and forget. They don't engage. They don't even come back. They forget that you're even there, and sometimes they might even mute, the notifications, right? And then you got ones that'll subscribe and then unsubscribe and whatever. But you get those. But you got to be honest with yourself that not all your subscribers are like fully engaged and fully into your channel. It could be like because I've done it before. I've seen a channel. I like this guy's couple videos, and I check out his channel, give it a nice glimpse over, and I'll be like, all right, I sub, and I never watch another video from him again. And then every month I go through and I unsubscribe to those channels that I really don't watch. Not because they're bad content, it's just that they really only had a couple videos that I personally was interested in. The rest of the gobbledygook, I wasn't. See, and I'm not even worried about my channel doing that. I got a couple gaming videos. I got just regular life videos. You saw one yesterday with the snowblower. I have these live streams. I have things that I'm doing with the project, like with the North Carolina, the battleship. This is because my channel's not geared towards one particular thing. My channel is not even here to be a top channel. My channel's here as a video diary. My kids will end up seeing this when I'm gone, and they can be like, "Wow, that's what Dad looked like back in the day. That's what Dad sounded like. Wow, that's what the house looked like, or that's what he was into." It's that type of legacy I want to leave behind for my kids. And I really wish that this day of technology was invented far earlier, because back in the 80s it would have been amazing instead of old Polaroids or faded out double exposed 30 millimeter photo pictures from those little cameras there and stuff like that. That's all we got. And if you were lucky, you got those expensive real cameras there. So yeah, that's my purpose for this channel, if anybody was wondering. And if you weren't, well, you got an explanation anyways. Moto Alley, a firefighter, you have a talent to converse with people naturally. He does, believe it or not. Motorbomb Virginia, definitely more social that way. Firefighter, during my 2-hour stream, I may glance at the number 3 times, and one of those is an accident. Just send it. A Moto Alley, God-given talent. A firefighter at Motobomb. You've got a crew, that's for damn sure. Yes. God, Sick Bastard, Motobomb, Old Mac, Carney. I mean, I can the list goes on and on. I couldn't even remember all the people there that are just really good people. Motobomb, I guess they're not my crew, just good peeps, good times, but I know what you're saying. Thank you. It's a crew, but in all honesty, Motobomb, you gotta admit this one fact. If it wasn't for you starting these live streams that you do, and by the way, people, go check out his channel, Motobomb Virginia. Again, you won't regret it. Good person right there. I mean, real good person. Good family guy. Good values, and he makes some damn good videos too. But he live streams. But yeah, Motobomb, if it wasn't for you live streaming, do you honestly think that other people would take up the mantle and continue on? I haven't seen it. I mean, there are people that have tried, but because they have things going on, I guess, in their life, I totally get it. But the steady coffee time, the steady coffee time, yeah, I think without you, I wouldn't say they would dissipate, but they would just kind of find other things to do on YouTube, or just, well, maybe dissipate, I guess. But you're the glue that kind of holds everybody together. Even with old Mac coming on, and Sick Bastard helping with the comments and whatnot, and you got, but they're rallying around you. So whether you like it or not, man. Yeah, that was for Motorbomb. Let's see. Sometimes even Rascal appears on the live with us. Anybody's welcome that can get along with others. Yes, I've been on his live stream before, on Motorbomb Virginia's live stream. And there's times that I'd love to, but I can't because life around me is just hectic, busy, or I'm doing things. Today was a different day. Today was like no appointments for the kids, no appointments for me. The wife is a substitute teacher, so she's working all week, or slated to work all week, and the kids are in school. And I'm in between, laundry and things like that. So while I'm waiting, I was like, hey, this is a perfect opportunity to kind of set this up. And if I can do it in time, I'm just going to throw a live stream together. Shoot from the hip, come what may. But kudos to Motorbomb. Seriously. Firefighter, you got to be stupid like me. Stay motivated. That just made me laugh harder than it should. Caught me off guard. Well, we enjoy listening to you. Well, I appreciate that. But you really do. You just got to be a knucklehead like myself to just be doing what I'm doing right now, but picture with nobody listening. And I'm still going to be this, right? Because I don't change. That was the one thing I learned early in my life, of be who you are, regardless of if people like it or not. Now, there is a civility measure to it, right? A respectful measure to that, but I won't shy away. Like how I'm talking, what I'm talking about, how I'm acting, all of that is 24/7. I don't change into somebody else when the camera goes off, or change into this person when the camera goes on. So what's the old expression? What the hell? You get what you get. You get what you see. Something like that. You do find good things to talk about, Rascal. Thank you, Motorbomb. And what helps, Motorbomb, is the fact that the fact that people bring up a topic. Moto Alley did it. Firefighters done it. You did it. I mean, if I read a comment and it like triggers something or sparks something, I'll go ahead and I'll talk about it. And I'm just glad you guys are along for the ride. We got to get you right medically. Yeah, and that goes back to what I was talking about with, the fact that, I can't mechanically do things anymore. But the reason why you see the pictures over here, that right there is incentive for me to keep my mind busy, keep my hands busy, and to feel like I'm doing something, because it's something I want to leave for my kids, again, when I'm gone, right? And I make no illusion that I'm not going to have that long, illustrious life, and sit there, crapping my pants at 93. I'm 50, and I honestly don't think I'm going to make it that far, not to be morbid or anything like that. But I really do want to leave something for the kids, YouTube, something that, hey, Dad made that with his own hands, right? I'm not going to make a chair or a rocking chair. That's something that, like, my grandfather would have done, and actually did. But that's not me. This right here, oh yeah. This right here, that's my jam. Moto Alley, I'm not medical pro, but if they say anything about a biopsy, don't do it. They haven't yet, but I have a bad feeling something like that is going to happen come December on my next visit with the neurosurgeon. Neurosurgeons don't want to see you unless they have a use. just kind of the way it is. So, but they've been extremely dodgy with saying anything more about what's going on up in my noggin. So, Moto Alley, it's working to the point where Canadians want to jump ship. I've heard that, actually, because we're not the only ones that have divisiveness in political parties. I keep track of the Canadian side of things as well, and it's just, like you said, it's just as bad. You got people. Now, here's a funny thing about Moto Alley's comment, where he says it's working to the point where Canadians want to jump ship. I would assume he means move. You talk to a lot of Americans, and some of them will say, yeah, it's getting bad. I just want to move to Canada. Like, that seems to be the go-to American saying. I'm just going to move to Canada without even knowing what they're in for. And then, of course, you hear Canadians going, man, screw this. I'm going to move to America. And again, have no clue what you're in for. I think we should start our own country. I'll be the first radio station in the country. So whoever starts the country, I want dibs on first radio station. I'll be the podcaster. Motorbomb. Only the community really watch and comments on my stuff. Exactly why I try to prioritize them and build good relationships. I would do that whether they watch my vids or not, but it's how I end up meeting them. A Motorbomb, just fun to make vids and meet people. I agree. It is. I've met more good people, unfortunately. I say unfortunately, I'll explain. I've met more good people, unfortunately, online than I have in real life. In real life, meeting people, especially nowadays, is so difficult because I don't know what it is. So I can't really pinpoint it. So I'm not going to speculate. But in person, if you don't have a connection already and it's just out in the blue, yeah, you might have the, kind of like a layman's conversation about the weather or whatever. But trying to make a friendship and then to realize most of them aren't in it to win it. Okay. Whereas I'm a black and white person, always have been. My decisions are yes, no, left, right, whatever, right? So I know my course. So when I meet somebody, I stay as open-minded as I possibly can, especially during conversations. But it's usually their side that eventually something will come out where you're like, whoa, I didn't know that, and I wish I didn't. So goodbye, right? That kind of thing. So, but online, it's different. You guys, I can talk to you guys for hours and hours. It's only been an hour and a half, but still, I can sit here and chit chat with you guys, most of the afternoon, and not even blink an eye. So, Moto Alley, I've said this before as well. It's my goal to create a huge community of 1,000+ like-minded people to interact with and support each other. That is an amazing goal to have, and I pray that you reach it, bud. I really do. I wish you all the best of luck in your endeavor to do that. That's a huge goal, but I think you got what it takes to be able to achieve that. Especially like what you wanted is like-minded individuals. And with any luck, those like-minded individuals will help you also achieve that goal. And working together, there's no doubt in my mind. You'll get there, bud. Moto Alley, it's a stretch, but man, it would be so much fun trying. Heck yeah. Don't let that stop you. Don't look at a big goal going, unachievable, because you just killed it in your head. If you say it's unachievable, guess what? It's going to be unachievable. But if you look at it saying, I can do that, hold my drink, just go for it. Yeah, and you never know. That one goal may lead you off in a different direction to another goal you never even knew about, but it was a lot better than your original one. But you're never going to know if you say it's unachievable. So, just some advice, man. Firefighter, right on, Moto. Fun to have a tight group that we interact with each in other videos, and you see that coming out in live streams. By the way, I've done gaming live streams as well, where there's a dedicated I don't want to say following because that's just weird, but a dedicated group of other people that like what I'm doing, but they also like the fact that I'm not just live streaming a game, but I'm live streaming and interacting with the commenters while I'm playing the game, right? Or doing the live stream, and not just like picking and choosing comments or whatever. I'm going through each individual one. I don't care how long it takes. I got time. Laundry ain't going nowhere. Moto Alley makes it more fun, and I look forward to seeing the comments. Yeah, to see what other people say, And again, it's like Firefighter mentioned earlier. It's like if we were in person and we're just standing in a group, and there was just a group of us. This is what we would be doing. We'd be sitting around a campfire or something, sharing war stories or whatever, and just talk about whatever, somebody brings up something, boom, there's our topic, and then you just kind of rattle on about it, where did I leave off? Crap. Exactly. Motorbomb, Virginia, you ever come up my way, bring your tattoo gun. I'd love to get some work done. Right on. Motorbomb, Rascal, way too kind. It's hard to hear compliments, but thank you. I know, Motorbomb. I know. Here's the deal with that comment, Moto. That it's hard to hear compliments. I find it extremely difficult to have somebody compliment me. I feel awkward as hell when random people come up and they find out that I'm a disabled vet or just a vet, and they thank me for my service, and and I just kind of like, what do you say? Do you say thank you back? I have, and I've said nothing. I've tipped my hat. I've done a lot of different things, but I've never been able to take a compliment very, very good, and it could be just because of my upbringing and the lifestyle I grew up in, unfortunately, where there was no compliments to be had. So when you get out of that atmosphere and you're finding that, wow, there are good people out there, and you see how crappy your family was, and whatnot. Not all of them. You don't know how to take it. You don't know how to respond to it. And that's what makes it awkward when compliments are finally given. So I get it. Long way around that answer, but yeah, I totally get it. But you're deserving of it. Okay? So don't think you're not. You're definitely deserving of it. Because when I meant what I said, you're the linchpin. You're the glue. If you stopped live streaming, nobody else would as much as you do, and with as much love and care that you put into it, of finding people who respond back, who are able to communicate, right? And be a part of what you're building, right? Firefighter says, we got your back, Moto. Moto says, Moto Alley, here in Virginia, the Norfolk area right now, well, for many years. Yeah. Moto Alley, I might have to try and get down that way someday. Moto Bomb, that's right. You're way up north. Moto Alley says, not far up north between London and Sarnia, Ontario. Moto Bomb at Firefighter. Thanks. Hope I can do the same for you. Moto Bomb says, almost in the up under, opposite of Australia, right? Instead of down under. Moto Alley, biopsies cause issues. They poke whatever the mass is and open it up and make it spread. Yeah, I've heard of that actually. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to leave that in God's hands, and I'm going to give Him my stresses, my worries, because that's what He instructs us to do as Christians. And I'm not saying that everybody here is Christian. You might be. Good on you. If not, I still love you. But He tells us to take our worries and our stresses and give Him the yoke, because He can take care of it. He can move forward with it where we would be stuck in place under a mountain of stress. So I'll leave it in His hands, and whatever happens, happens, because I believe that whatever happens will be in His will, not mine. Not to be preachy, sorry. Moto Alley. Carney is running this shit into the ground, headed to a point where us working folk won't afford anything. Carney. I see what you mean. Carney destroyed Britain and ran away. Yeah. Not the Carney we know, Motobomb. It's a political dude up in Canada. Got fuel. Brian got fuels. Holy hell, Eric. What's up, bro? Brian, hey, what's going on, brother? Boy, long time no see. Glad you could make it. Everybody, Got Fuels Model Car Garage. If you want to go check him out, he's really good at doing models. He's a great guy. Go check out his channel. His name's Brian. Love the hell out of this guy. We haven't spoke for a while, but it don't mean feelings haven't changed. Like I said, he's a great guy. We used to we were in the same profession, modeling, right? Scale modeling, profession. My God, what do you call it? Hobby. Thank you. Not profession. Sorry. It's a hobby, whatever. Some try to make it a profession, but I digress. But yeah, no, he's a great modeler. Brian, I was actually just telling everybody that I don't do scale models anymore. What you see off to the right was a 196 scale replica that I built by hand from scratch with wood of the USS North Carolina. I'm going to be doing that again. I just bought the plans. That was 23 years ago, by the way. Insane. I look at them and like the memories just like flood right back. So good to see you here, though. Moto Alley, appreciate the support, man. Firefighter, Rascal, the motivational speaker. When you travel the globe at your speaking engagements, please stop by and say hi. Right, dude? Man. I would like to, even if it's just for a visit, I'd love to come down through your neck of the woods, like Tennessee and, Virginia and stuff like that. But my ultimate bucket list goal is to go visit the USS North Carolina. That is my ultimate goal. I wasn't even in the Navy, guys. I was a ground pounder, a gravel agitator, if you will. I feet, boots, gone ground, right? So I was in the Army, not the Navy, but anyways, I've always geeked out over that ship. I've always loved battleships, period, even when I was a kid. Moto Alley, he would be such a good motivational speaker, the both of you. If we did it together, we would be able to compete. No, we wouldn't be able to complete a thought. I know what you were getting at. See? Well, I just completed your thought. But hey, I digress. Yeah, firefighter's right, man. We would just be all over the flipping place. Motobomb, thanks for relating to my comment about compliments. Try to keep what little ego I have out of the way. Yeah, when it comes to ego, I have I have none. I make no pretense about it, you know. So, Motorbomb, I thank you all so much. Need to pick me up. Uh, Needed to pick me up for today for sure. Appreciate it. Hey, that's what we're here for, right? I mean, it's like you said, it's a community. It's where we gather together and just we have that mutual respect. That makes sense. And when you have that mutual respect, things like this happen. Sometimes it doesn't happen all the time. I've had live streams where it went tits up really fast, but this one's actually a good one. Motowally at Motobomb, we got you, man. The motorcycle community is such a great community, and I'm gonna double down on that comment that it is. Now, even though I'm not going to be a motorcycle rider, I'm not even going to be a motorcycle mechanic anymore. But the fact that these guys, this community, opened its arms to me, and all I had was a busted '74 Yamaha TX 500. Still, not riding. But anyways, they accepted me nonetheless because it was just the person. And I liked that. It wasn't because, oh, this guy's got a fancy toy, you can join our group. I'm pretty sure that if I found them just by happenstance with zero motorcycle or zero interest in riding a motorcycle, they'd still welcome me in. And I believe that wholeheartedly. Moto Alley, true brotherhood. Uh-oh, lost my, there we go. Firefighter, Motobomb, Virginia, all the same community. Hope all is well or will get better soon for you. Brian, got fuels. Living the dream, one nightmare at a time. Give it to Jesus. Yep, he's the only one that can fix it. Amen to that, brother. I still got health issues, but I have 100% health issues, and I have 0% worry about it because I give it to God. And that's the only way that anybody is going to get around it. If you put your faith 100% into the medical side of things, it may be good, but there's a long-lasting mental breakdown patient side, that comes with dealing with chronic pains or busted body, broken body. So yeah. Moto Alley, nightmares and dreams too. Brian, wow, that's cool. Talking about scratch building. Yeah, no, that's what I did. I got the plans 23 years ago from the same people. Brian, I don't know, you might not know him, but it's I pinned it in the comments. It's floatingdrydock.com. He's a 21-year Navy vet. So the company is owned and operated by a veteran, and USA, right? So I love supporting all elements of that. But he was the guy that I bought the plans off originally, which you can see in these pictures. In some of the pictures, you'll see the plans are in scale. Right, you still have to do lots of measurements. I mean, there's a lot of brain work involved in getting up to the rib point. So it gets a little bit easier when you're doing the hull sheeting, but I had a blast doing it, and I look forward to doing it again. It's not going to be made the exact same way, but it'll be close. It'll be close. I'm not building it to blow it up. I'm building it as an actual scale model, not an RC warship. So, Motobomb, mutual respect is key. Salute to you. Right back at you, brother. Moto Alley, all you need is the love for motorcycle, and you're part of it. I do, actually. The whole reason I got into the motorcycle hobby if you will, was it was supposed to be easier on my body to work on mechanically because I swear I was born with a crescent wrench in my hand, right? I just, I found it relaxing, de stressing. But with my body as broken as it was, I couldn't do a normal car or truck or anything like that. Nothing of that size. And I was like, after many years, I was like, well, what can I do? And then I was like, wait a minute, I can get into motorcycling. I said, I've always wanted a motorcycle. Matter of fact, there was I think it was a 1987. A friend of mine had a 1987 Yamaha Virago 750, and I absolutely fell in love with that bike. Absolute. Hopefully, I wasn't eating the mic on that. Absolutely fell in love with that bike, and always wanted one. So that was always my dream bike. Not a Harley, not a I1 or anything like that. Nope, just a 87 Yamaha Virago 750. Wasn't even going for the 1100. It was that particular bike that gave me so many memories. I was like, I want that. I want that bike again. So here we go. I was like, well, I got a 74 Yamaha, but it's a 500, TX 500, and it doesn't currently run. Right, like the framework is fine, the motor is fine. It just needs to be kind of rebuilt and reworked and given some love. And I love resurrecting things with my own hands and being like somebody was going to throw that away. Yet, given some time, love, and energy, I bet you I can make that son of a gun purr again. And that was my goal with this. And then the brain issue happened. And that's when I realized, and then of course my second shoulder surgery, I was like, God's telling me something. God's saying, you don't need this. This is going to crumble you into the ground. And then what use are you going to be to your family when you got to go through another shoulder surgery or something else breaks on you? You got to think of somebody, you got to think of them and not you, right? So I had to be selfless and not selfish. Suppose that's probably the best way to put it. Anyways, Moto Alley, 2 wheels is 2 wheels, whether you ride it or not. Very true. Am I going to sneak in some wrenching on that? Probably, but I don't want to do it to the point like I originally planned. Because again, I gave it to my boy, my second oldest. And he is currently in the military. He went to boot camp August 12th, guys. And he's going into special forces. So he should be at the tail end of boot camp right now. I don't know if he'll have time or not, but I really want to hear from him if he has time anyways after boot. Motobomb, no moto at all. I'd still attract the kind of people here that I meet. Yeah, that's what I mean, Moto. Absolutely. About it, man. Truth. Moto Alley. A lot of times, a change of diet can fix and get rid of a lot of issues. Yeah, it's unfortunate that the meds, and again, this isn't excuses because I don't make excuses, but the current mental health meds that I'm on are weight gainers. So I'm currently in talks with VA about getting something that can counteract the weight gain. I can't go out and exercise like I used to. My entire back is titanium rods and screws. My right shoulder has been reconstructed twice, and the last time was early this year, and the doc said there's nothing left. If you screw this up, there's nothing left for us to attach anything to. We'd have to do a shoulder replacement. I've never even heard of that to begin with. I've heard of knee replacement, hip replacement, but not shoulder. So that kind of freaked me out. My left ankle was reconstructed twice. I do have a bad left knee and a bad left hip, but I can deal with that, and I have been for years. And then, of course, I have the TBI. So dealing with PTSD, which is under control, by the way. Thank you, therapy. Just saying. um, my diet consists of eating once in the day if my stomach allows it. And again, this is all meds that are causing this. I have coffee, just a couple cups of coffee in the morning, and I have like one meal, and it's not even a meal. It might be crackers and ranch, a little stream of crackers, and just dip it in ranch, and and I'm good. After that, it feels like I had a 7-course meal. Like those meds are just stupidly crazy. So I'm asking the VA, hey, can we do something? I said, at 244, and I ain't ashamed to admit it, at 244, I said my A1C, there we go. My A1C is 6.8, and it's every year it creeps up another point. And this year it was 6.8, and I was like, I know if I can get my weight down to like 210, I said that number should come down with it. I'm not looking for miracles, but I know it ain't going to be 6.8. I swear they want you to be diabetic so that they just keep pumping more meds. Ugh, pisses me off. Brian, asking Jesus to work through the hands of the doctor doesn't hurt either. No, it doesn't. That don't hurt a thing. And I'll tell you what, I've been on bended knee more than once, praying to the big guy upstairs. Really just for my family. Brian says, back then you couldn't Google scale calculator either. No. 23 years ago? Nope. That was it. If you had math skills, you were good to go. If you didn't have math skills, what you were building was probably not going to look like or resemble a boat. So, yeah, Moto Alley. You never forget the bike that made you fall for the sport. If you're talking about that Yamaha Virago, never, ever. My memory's crap thanks to the head injury, but there's certain things that they've stayed, and that one memory of that bike. Now I had many memories, I just don't remember them, but I can remember that first time I saw that bike. It was like instant love. I don't know how else to put it. I know it's a bike, it's an inanimate object, but I was like, that's it. That's the one. That's the one I want. And people were like, well, don't you want like a Harley, and stuff? And this was even farther back than 23 years ago. So, and I was like, no. I said, I just, for whatever reason, that the look, of course, I was exposed to many, many bikes. I had family members that I rode with on bikes. Some were Hondas and, some were Yamahas and stuff like that. But it was that particular one. And I was like geeked out. Nope, that's it. I knew it. Hands down. Brian says, almost died on a 750 Honda Shadow, but would jump on another one any day. Right? Right? Motobomb. Love your thinking on that, Rascal. Family first and not self, other than taking care of yourself so you can do that. Absolutely. Thank you, bud. Firefighter. Did someone say Honda Shadow 750? I have re-entered the chat. No. We talked about a Virago firefighter. Virago. That's a yammy, buddy. Just saying. No Shadow Crew in here. Come on now. No, I'm just joking. Moto Alley, not preaching diet or anything. Ever think about doing a carnivore diet? Dude, I'd eat the ass end of a cow right now, and I wouldn't even care if it was dead. Of course, I like it rare anyways. But it's the diet thing. It's like the dietitian at the VA clinic looked me in the eye, going, "What do you eat? So we can figure out a diet." I told her, I said, crackers and ranch. She goes, and I go, and what? That's it. She's like, in a day? I was like, yeah. Well, how many? I was like, Oh, maybe that many. And she just like stopped, and I was like, I said, it's not my choice. I said, these flippin' meds are just like effing with my body. Excuse me. Didn't mean to say effing. Ah, I said it again. Never mind. Firefighter, prescribing a medication for a medication, vicious route. Yeah, but welcome to the VA, buddy. That's exactly what they do. You come in there and you're like, hey, I'm here for mental health. And they're like, oh, okay. Before we start diving deep, we want you on X, Y, and Z med. And I'm not kidding you. Meds is the first thing out of their mouth when it comes to veterans. Been there, done that, still in it. You guys don't even want to see the amount of pills I have to take in a day. In the morning, it fills the cup of my hand. And that's just morning. I still have afternoon, evening, and the nighttime pills. That's 4 times in a day. My closet in the bathroom looks more like a pharmacy than it does anything else, and it sucks. Moto Alley, that's how Big Pharma stays employed. Ain't that the truth? Motorbomb, that sounds good, but I can't stay committed for some reason. But it is a good way to eat. Dude, I could never get on, even if I was eating whatever, I could never get on like a vegetarian diet. That's just not me. Get rid of the sugars and the processed stuff, mainly meats with some veggies. Absolutely. I love veggies. Love me some veggies. And meat. My favorite meal is a homemade cheeseburger. In any way, shape, or form, but it's got to be medium rare. I don't like well-done burgers. They taste like crap. And I don't do fast food. I haven't done fast food in 3 years. I don't drink pop. I haven't done that in 2.5. Motorbomb. I had ground beef made in the microwave at work, some cheese and water. Giddy up. Right there. You had me at cheese. I'm a huge cheese fan. I got a story I could tell you guys about cheese. It's actually a quick one, but, well, maybe not so quick. But I'll save it. That's a story for another campfire, I suppose. Firefighter, I know another shadow guy in the chat right now. Oh, okay. So Firefighter and Moto Alley. All right. You guys are going to gang up with the whole shadow thing, right? Yeah, me and my shadow. Up, by the way, which is Firefighter's title on some of his videos. Me and my shadow. Which I thought was a cool little twist. Brian, yes, it was on early 80s. My cousin was driving. I was on the bitch seat, probably about 15 in the mid 80s. Next thing, car was packed on my right ass cheek. Yeah, ouch. Yeah, nobody likes that. Shadow guy sounds suspicious. Right? Oh, come on. Guys are ganging up, man. Got to be talking about the Yamaha. Motorbomb's got to get in here. I know he just sold his, what was it, his I1? He sold his I1. He probably misses it, so this might hurt a little bit, but let's just rip that Band-Aid off, buddy. Okay? Let's start talking Yamaha. Yamaha. Shadow guy sounds very. Firefighter says. Moto Alley. A nice piece of steak with some salt once or twice a day. Get rid of the processed shit. I bet you'll feel better and have more energy. Hell, even have some eggs and butter for breakfast. I'm actually allergic to eggs, but that is actually really, really good to have because it's like a lot of protein. And when you say butter, okay, we're talking the real butter. Okay, not the fake stuff. The real butter that comes in the sticks, you know, and it has no name, you know, because it doesn't want to get found out, you know. So it's like, wow, this suspicious yellow rectangular package. What is it? I wonder. Let's throw it on a steak and find out. Brian says, I used to take off on it when he wasn't home running 80 plus through the neighborhood. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Firefighters like, yikes. Yeah. Now, mind you, firefighter is an actual firefighter, right? He's not a part-time; he's a full-time firefighter. So, I'm sure he's seen the results of when 80 plus in neighborhoods goes completely south. Motor Valley, yes sir, some real butter, not margarine crap. Yeah, no, we don't like that margarine crap. Motorbomb, high fat is where it's at. I love that. It even rhymed. If not combined with cabs. Yeah, it's the cabs that really do it, like noodles, anything like that. Like, some people are like, well, I'll eat ramen and stuff. And I'm like, one, that's high in sodium. Two, that's like high in carbs too. So Moto Alley, first bike was a 79 XS 650. Never heard it run, didn't know enough about bikes, and didn't have enough resources to get it going. But that's cool though. That a 79, and that's a Yamaha. If I sounding correctly here, right? Because the XS, that the rims. Okay, so the wheels I have spare for the 74 actually came off a 77 XS Yamaha, but they're compatible. Thank God. But I don't know if I want that because see, now you're going to get me all geeking out about this, and I know I can't do a lot of wrenching, but I'm going to do it anyways. So my goal was always to put a 21 on the front and an 18 on the back, but fat, right? So I'd have a fatty on the back and then a 21, and that the profile gets raised up enough. Now, if you're familiar with the 70s, the mid 70s or whatever bikes, their style was very straight. Okay, if anybody understands that, like, you sat up straight. There was no like relaxing, and stuff, and it wasn't like bent down. But you can achieve something close to that by raising not only the forks and messing with the forks, but you can raise by the front end by getting a larger front and a smaller or a shorter rear. Then you get the camel seat, okay? And that actually puts you down a little bit further than the actual stock seat that comes, like, say, with the 74, right? They're padded, they're thick, right? But the camel seat, the front seat, is actually a lot thinner. Now, long distance driving, I can't attest to your butt not hurting, because it's not, chunky, but it gives you that lower dip that you need. And with the increased height in the front, you got a nice looking bike there, man. We're talking bobber / chopper / shade tree. that's what that's called, man. All right. Okay. Yikes. Butter, margarine, high fat. High fat. Moto Alley. First bike was okay. We did that. Yep. Brian, gotta go, Biggie. Take care. All right, peace out there, Brian. Have a good one. Moto Alley. I've been looking into getting another one as a project, but funds prohibit it right now. If I didn't already give it to my son, I would have given you this 74. I would have given it to you. I even have the original Haynes manual for it, which is awesome. And I got the Haynes manual off of Evil Bay. But it's essential when you're doing stuff like this. They do have a Chilton's version, but the Haynes manual, I've always liked the company Haynes, the way they format their books. I've used Haynes manuals on multiple projects with cars, trucks, you name it, and of course now a motorcycle. So the way I wanted to do it was I was looking for any bike that is a project bike within my measly little price range that I could get my hands on, and it would take a long time to build because I would tear it down completely like I'm doing now. And like once I'm down to the bare frame, that thing's getting sanded. It's going to be there's a it might actually be the name of it. It's called it's a metal prep is what it is. So you put that on and it helps the paint to adhere to the metal better, I guess. I couldn't just accept it. I'd have to pay something for it. You wouldn't have to pay anything. Just come and get it. But you do the metal prep on it, and then I would probably just, I know this sounds like weird, but I'd probably rattle can it. The only other option, I could hand paint it with a brush. That's been done. Now, mind you, I do not have a compressor. Could probably borrow one, but you know, I like doing things on my own. And rattle can is fine. It's an old bike. This isn't being restored to factory condition. It's being rebuilt, reinvented into something up here. So I don't mind. I've rattle canned other projects before and it's come out, workable, doable. I mean, it's not like perfection, but it is doable. Moto Alley says, I think I said this before, but a good patina look paint job would be awesome. See, you're one of those guys, man. Okay. So patina is, I think, looks cool, but there's something in my head that says, I can fix that. Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the engineer in me. It's just that I see something like that. It's like, I can make that look better. And it's like, I need to fix that, right? Because like the surface rust, I can sand that out. I bet you and my brain just goes, and just vomits most of that. So sort of refurbished to usable conditions. Yes, absolutely, to reusable conditions, but I want it to look somewhat decent too. Well, going back to the patina, that would drive me crazy. I'm sorry, it would just drive me crazy. Even if you had a bike that you rode up here, you'd be like, where the hell did Eric go? You see me out front and I'm sanding the crap out of it going, oh, he'll love this. I'll make it look nice and shiny and get rid of this surface rust. Motobomb. The can-do attitude. Need for that cycle project you had. And now it's going to get done. There's no doubt in my mind, Moto, that it'll be done because I want to see it to its conclusion. And I'm sure people that are subscribed to me want to see it come to fruition as well. And to hear it for the very first time. If I take a break on my project, my battleship project, the only other thing that I would swing my play money towards is pieces for the bike. So now whether or not I can do some of the stuff, now mind you, it's just me. I don't know when my boy is going to be able to even come up here, but I am going to tinker with it as best I can. I just can't. I got to really pull back the reins. Like when I talked with the neurosurgeon, it's just, he put it in perspective, man. He really did. So I was like, yeah, life is fragile, and I do want to stay on Earth as long as I can for the family. If I was selfish, I'd be like, God can take me now. That's fine. I know what heaven's like. Heaven don't have politicians. So, well, maybe. I'm sorry. Oops. I'm sorry. Maybe there's politicians that make it into heaven. Maybe they Got enough donor money? No, I shouldn't say that. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Anyways, off topic. Moto Alley, you wouldn't want to see my bike. It's got rust forming on the frame. Oh, Moto. Really? Shame. Shame. On live stream, shame. You have rust. Shame. Okay, I'm done. Moto Alley, I'm looking forward to seeing it as it's completed. Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, to take something that somebody else says because they don't, regardless of the reasons, laziness or just finances, whatever. I get it. Whatever. I get it, and it doesn't really matter. But you're good. You're trying to throw away something that has a potential use to somebody, right? So if I'm that person that's the in-between guy to get it to that point where it's usable by whoever, I'm happy with that. That means I did something. And I love doing things for other people. And I don't ask for money. It's just because I'm in it for the love of it, not for the money of it. Moto Alley says the process, the challenges, and everything. Oh yeah, challenges, process, and everything. Right? I totally get it. The challenges. That's what I love. And I try to pass that on to my kids, but again, I got kids with autism, and they see the world differently. My oldest has autism. And my 11-year-old boy has autism, and one of my twin girls has autism. To say my life is a busy life is an understatement. But I really try to instill that no quit attitude, because they always get on my case, even as young as they are. They always ask, Dad, why do you do that? Why don't you ask for help? And I was like, because I'm so used to doing things on my own, even when I was a kid at their age. I was hopping trains, going from town to town, and I was doing that in the ages of 8 and 10. And I thought nothing of it back in the 80s. Who gave two Twinkies? Nobody cared. My parents were divorced. Dad, this isn't a sob story, but my dad used to call me an asshole. That was like his nickname. So, I mean, you can tell that there was a loving relationship going on there, and my mom only cared about the boyfriends that she was getting, So it was one of those, and we lived in squalor. It was just, that was it. That was my life. But I try to teach these kids that even through that, you don't quit. There's always a way to do something. Don't ever look at something and say, nope, I can't do it. There's no way. I call BS. There's always a way. You just haven't thought of it. And because you're brain lazy, you're going to sit there and be like, I quit, before even trying. I said, you can't do that. I said, when my back was operated on and I could barely move, I still shuffled down the hallway and was able to do things, go to the bathroom or get up and get a drink or a sandwich. Was I supposed to? Probably not. But I always thought in my head, if I was single and there was no family in the area, how else would I be able to get that done? Well, I don't know. Figure it out. And that's what I did. So, and that's what, again, this is all like a big, sorry for like spewing this, but it's all like the bike, myself and the bike. That's the relationship I hold with that bike. It's not an obstacle. It's a challenge. And I stand up and met that challenge, and I still do. And I like it. So, I don't know. Oh, my God. See, even firefighters like, rust on the frame. Yeah, see, even firefighters like, no such thing as patina, man. It's called rust. Shave it off, repaint, get her done. Firefighter, heavens don't have politicians. Oh, yeah. Well, they sure as hell don't have lawyers. Moto Alley could be a scare tactic to make you sit back and make you weak because more issues and such. Yeah, I get it. Moto Alley, for shaming myself. For shame. Yeah, yeah, you should. You should have shame, man. Uh, Moto Alley, to fix it or correct it would mean I take away from my riding time to do it. I just can't do it. Watch. Okay, so this is what you do to fix that problem. Watch other people's moto vlogs while you're fixing yours as motivation to get it done, to get to do what they're doing. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm here all day. Free advice. Okay. Moto Alley, they are just as capable. Just have to figure out how to spark the fire and learn they think to help them out. Yep. 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 Amen to that, brother. Moto Alley. Second set of eyes, or take a step back, do something else, and re-enter with a fresh mind. Yep, it goes back to a saying I've always lived by: drop back 20 and punt. Right, no football expression. Is to just take that moment, look outside the bubble, right, and be like, oh, I see a little bit more now that I'm not stressing about everything. Now I can hit it from other angles. So, Moto Alley, and everyone. Don't forget to like this stream. I can't be the only one. Oh, I'm not. I mean, if people want to like, that's fine. People want to sub, that's fine too. You know, I'm not worried about it. It's the live chat. It's the people in the chat, man. You know, that's where it's at. I'm sure there's probably some people that are subscribed to my channel that can't make the live streams, which are completely random and off the hook. And at weird times during the business day, so they can't make it. So I totally get it. Firefighter, hit it already. Good reminder. Firefighter, my bike isn't perfect, that's for sure, but gotta watch that frame. This is from a guy that blew his rear tire out too. Oh yeah, that's right. Moto Alley, it's not rushing through, just a bit of flake paint. Says the one. Really? No. You get a sander and you just right there. Get it done. Get her done. You talking about, man? It'll rust through. Think about that. It'll rust through and it'll fall apart. Where you gonna be? Side of the road. Over there and over there. And depending on how fast you are, somewhere in the woods, you know? Moto Alley. Yep. It's a 97. Oh, right on. What do you expect? Hey, okay. I expect it on my 74. I don't expect it on a 97 at all. Really? You want to say hi? Ah, all right. This is Molly. Oh, you were trying to say hi? I can get Ginger. I don't know where she is. Oh, Ginger's probably somewhere else. But this is Molly, one of my two mutts. You've probably seen him on some shorts that I've made recently. Say hi. Say hi, Molly. Hi. Look at that fat belly. She's supposed to be a small dog. She weighs 20 pounds. No joke. Chunky. Shih Tzu with a little bit of Bichon Frise, if people are like into the pedigree. Is that what it's called? Of a dog? Yeah? Should we get Ginger down here? She has no idea. Ginger girl! Ginger! Ginger girl! Man, I bet she's like lazy as hell right now. She's like, I ain't moving. Probably comfy on a fleece blanket upstairs. Nah, that's impressive. 97. Moto Alley, on the road looking at bushes. On the bushes looking at the road. Right? See? That's what can happen. All right? Oh, I just heard Ginger jump down. Ginger girl! Ginger girl! Come on, Ginger girl! Oh, here she comes. There's my ginger girl. There's my ginger girl. Come here. Oh, you're freaking. All right. This is my ginger girl. She is a Lassalier. Lopsa Opsa with King Charles Cavalier. So, again, if you're into the pedigree or whatever type of stuff, genetics, that's what she is. And she's like twice. Now, get this. She's twice the size of Molly, but the same weight. She's 21 pounds. So that's how fat Molly is. They're 12 and a half years old. Molly is going to be, Molly will be turning 13 in November. And Ginger, right here, will be turning 13 in February. I'm not going to get Thumper. He does not like to be held at all. That's our Holland Lop rabbit. He will be turning 5 in January. Get down. Good girl. Molly. Look at that little rascal. I know, right? Picking that thing up as your workout. Yes, it is. Trust me. Holy buckets. Hey, did you hear that? You're a 20-pound dumbbell. It wasn't me. I didn't say it. He did. Moto Alley, go figure. The gym buff looking at it as a workout. Got 2 dogs. Right? King Charles Cavalier. The hell is that? It's a dog. Okay? It's a dog. I didn't know about it either until I got that. Her. Sorry. Am I fat shaming you? Yeah, I'm totally fat shaming her. I have no regrets. Firefighter, shoot. I need to go. Been on a lazy break and eating everything in the house. That's why I was quiet during your diet talk. Oh, snap. 2 for 2 in good dogs. Another little rascal. Pronouns. Yes. They, them. Okay? So, yeah. So pronouns mean something, man. They, them are happy to be here. It. It's. Anyways, this is actually a good time for me to go to. It's been, oh my God, 2.5 hours. Or getting on 2.5 hours. So I am going to let you guys go. It has been a blast. And I mean that from the bottom of my hat. It has been a flippin' blast hanging with you guys, just being able to chit chat and just have normal conversation, life conversations. So yeah, no, I do. I still got housework. I didn't actually expect to be on for 2.5 hours, but yeah, hey, c'est la vie, right? Yeah, pronouns, please and thank you. Jeez, I know, right? I know. They, them are a bunch of beep. Yes, I agree, Moto Alley. So agree. Yeah, you need to go do work. I know, right? Motobomb says, super great listening to you. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you being here. Motobomb says, you have wise words, man. I appreciate that too. I'm keeping it real, and hopefully that's not leading people astray. I run off facts and truth. So sometimes it hurts people's feelings, but that's for them to deal with, not me. That's not going to make me stop. Moto Alley should go and get you figured out for work. Firefighter, good stuff, Rascal, and Peeps in the chat. Moto Alley says, this has been awesome. Time flies. I know, right, man? Firefighter, it certainly flew on by. That's a good thing. All right, boys and girls, have a blessed day. And until next time, peace out.